or on the Brunch Bunch for on Facebook. So I'm excited. Okay, perfect. I'll get that to you. Adam, DJB, did you call me ma'am? Hold on. Y'all about to watch a SmackDown. WWE SmackDown.
Yes.
DJ B-Lo says you're looking good.
Thank you, B-Lo. Thank you.
Did you notice that he had that shirt on yesterday, B-Lo? I'm kidding.
That's the thing. I gotta be on that side of the camera. I want some compliments too. Man.
I know, right?
I be doing my push-ups too, man.
You do your push-ups? Okay, guys, exclusively on the best day of your life. So far, you're going to have some more. But what were you doing and where were you on the best day of your life? You really? Because you had so many? Or you haven't had enough? Or you just haven't had enough? You haven't had enough? But if you had one, that's the only one I want. On the best day of your life, what were you doing?
Watching the Bears Super Bowl, but they lost. That was one of
so it was bittersweet.
One of the best days for sure.
What made it so? What made that the best?
Because the Bears are never good. They're never good. It was the first time they were good in my whole entire life. Devin Hester, like I knew every single player. I was so obsessed with, more obsessed than I am now. Even I was so obsessed.
Who were you with?
I was with my family too.
Okay.
I was with my.
Can you remember like everything that was going on?
I remember sitting like on the staircase watching. Like it was my uncle. My uncle passed away, so like it always sticks with me. So, got to really enjoy the Super Bowl with him before he passed. He got to see them in the Super Bowl. He actually died watching the Bears.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he just collapsed while watching the Bears, but he died loving what he did. So, it's a good way to go out.
You was at Pill Hill Academy meeting me? Okay, that's what I'm talking about, Lester. What? How many minutes? 3? Yes, okay. I love that. So I actually have 2 best days of my life. Okay. So one of the best days of my life was when I opened up near the pier. And let me tell you why. Because it was historic. I was the first Black woman to own a child care facility on the north side. Yeah. So I got down on my knees, literally on my knees, and I kissed the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Kissed the floor.
That's amazing.
What's up, Incognito? Oh, Incognito. I love that. I love that. And then the other one was the day my daughter was born.
Yeah, like I'm waiting on that. Like everyone tells me birth of your child is really nothing better.
It was different for women. And the reason it was the best day of my life, number 1, of course, I got my daughter. But number 2, I stopped being pregnant. I'm like, literally. I remember everything that was going on, too. I said to my doctor, who was my friend, he went to Meharry when I was at Fisk. And I said to him, listen, you told me today I was going to have a baby. He was like, well, you know what? My car got stolen. You could wait a little while. I got to go to North Carolina. I was like, okay, no problem. And so then he got his bag. Hey, Bettina. He got his bag.
No. It's too...
I got my bag. And he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to North Carolina. He said, why are you going to North Carolina? Your car didn't get stolen. I said, I know, but I'm not going to be pregnant in July. So when you go to North Carolina, I'm going to North Carolina. You go home.
It's like super hot, probably so uncomfortable.
What?
Being pregnant when it's like super Chicago hot.
I don't know about all that. All I know is being pregnant, hot or cold, was uncomfortable. So he said, I said, if you go home and get in the bed with your wife, I'm going home and get in the bed with your wife. He said, come on, Tamara, if you could change the hospital and we can go to Ravenswood, then I can deliver your baby today. I said, you can go in this alley right behind this doctor's appointment right here and deliver this baby. As long as you got the proper instruments and she gonna be okay. And so we went to Ravenswood, and then that was at 1:15 in the morning. Then
I was like that too. About like 3 in the morning.
Man, I could not wait.
20.
All right. So, exclusively, Bettina, what were you doing on the best day of your life, and who were you with? Explain it. Put it in the thread. Awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Heavenly Father, as we rise to greet this new day, we want to thank you for your love and grace. Guide our steps, fill us with your peace, help us to reflect your greatness in all that we do, and bless our actions, our words, and our thoughts. Keep us protected in our comings and goings in your holy name on this holiday weekend. And can I get the audience up in this studio to say amen?
Amen.
Yes, y'all, it's your girl Tamara Fair on the air, and I am super excited about what we're about to do. Not just right here in the studio, but what we're about to do this weekend, and that
for this
is
whole next month coming up.
chill.
too.
Yes, chill. Literally, you talking about a chill pill. This is a whole pill bottle full of pills, y'all. We get ready to do it. I forgot about that. Today is the last day.
I didn't forget.
You didn't forget. It's right here on your frontal lobe,
Yeah.
right? You know what? May the peace of the Lord go and be with you in our absence. That when I say our, I mean me and Adam's absence,
Yes.
because you will have Action Jackson back for the month of
Absolutely.
September. We are
Justice is coming back.
Justice too, yes. It'll still be a brunch bunch crew presence, of course, and we take you with you as we take you with us, as we always tell you, wherever we go, we keep you lifted in prayer. Today, y'all, today is a great day. We got a great guest for you. Stacey Davis Gates will be joining us later on in the hour. And as you probably know, if you are a Chicagoan, I know that we have a listening audience all over the world. But Stacey Davis Gates is one of the premier leaders in union leadership, and she heads the Chicago Teachers Union. So later on in the afternoon in this broadcast, we will be talking with Stacey Davis Gates. In the meantime, in between time, keep it locked right here on Inspiration 1390. Hey guys, it's Tamara Fair. One of the most powerful unions. Yes. What's up, Tina? Yeah. You think?
Like what they do on like Capitol Hill and like
as a
just being in politics and stuff, I feel
dealer,
like lawyers
they
are the-
stand guard over 1 million homes
Yeah,
and
this
businesses
one.
insurance.
That one's for you.
24/7, 365 days a year.
And you know what? Their response center is ever vigilant.
All right, guys, what were you doing on your favorite day? Who were you with? You know what? Sometimes when it's so fresh, you can even remember how it smelled. You know, literally, if it's your favorite day.
The Buffalo dip.
What's the buffalo dip? Oh, the dip,
Buffalo dip.
the buffalo. Okay. I had to get clarity on that. Hugs back to you, staying in your lane. What's up? Thanks for joining.
I didn't give you much clarity either. I just said Buffalo dip. You said, what's that? I said Buffalo dip.
Yeah. It took me a minute. You know, sometimes I hear later. What's up, Incognito? Oh, you're a new home daycare owner. That's awesome. Welcome to the industry. We need more like you. Stay strong, because it's not for the weak. Promise you, it's not for the weak. If some of you guys saw that a daycare center in Bronzeville closed yesterday, I think that was yesterday, one of my colleagues, Beatrice, shared it with me, and she closed because she didn't have enough staff. We constantly talk on this broadcast about how waning the workforce has become, and so we're starting to grow our own. So if you need assistance, definitely reach out to CCAU, that's Child Care Advocates United, so that you can get a hand held throughout your journey. But I definitely want to give you kudos for taking that leap, because it is definitely necessary. So you know what? Again, today's exclusive topic is, what were you doing on your favorite day so far in your life? I know you're going to have some more. Well, I don't know. Adam said he hasn't had enough. I think
Super Bowl this year.
everything is sports center. Boy, the Bears ain't been to the Super Bowl since they ain't won a Super Bowl since '85.
That part. But since 08.
Tune in every Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time to the Word Network, where Corby
07,
Ministry
right.
brings
07,
powerful
08
messages.
Yeah, but they went to the Super Bowl. They didn't win. I said specifically they didn't win since 1985. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there's some, like, Cubs fans are probably the best, most loyal fans. Besides you listeners, the most loyal fans in the history of fans.
Yes.
So they be fanning.
Yeah, that was a crazy parade. That was actually a great day in my life. Going to it.
Oh, no, I thought you didn't have enough of them.
I thought I didn't either until you said that. And then me and my friend in Indiana, when we were at IU, road trip back for the parade specifically. That was really fun.
But your
Mm.
family's future
I don't even
does
like
not
Cubs
have
like
to be.
that.
With life insurance
You know,
and
I love
investments,
the
I'm a
you can
football
Cubs.
guy.
secure
I'm
your
a Cubs.
tomorrow today.
Yeah, you got a football body.
I played baseball all my life.
Or you just need a free
You got a
assessment
baseball
of your
body
life
too.
I got a
insurance and
football body.
investments
I
plan.
definitely got a football
What you laughing at, Jarrell?
That's a
Short
different
and
kind of
stocky,
compliment.
baby.
You got a football
Football
body.
body.
Shut up, Jarrell. You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm definitely gonna miss all of September. I'm gonna miss this studio banter because I'm telling you now, the millennials, the Gen Zers, they come up with some great things, and then of course we have like 4 or 5 different generations that mix up in here, and it's amazing to see different perspectives and how the commonality is in
We
different
do have a
genres.
lot more in common than me.
Yeah.
With my tried and true tips. Let's empower our little ones together. Grab your copy now and let's make magic in the classroom.
We're in the raw with Tamara Fair on the Brunch Bunch.
So you know what? We're still buzzing because we still have a real premier election ahead of us, right? And so Harris is also still doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now Trump has been lauded as the holdout in this debate that's supposed to be coming up. They say it's coming up in September.
Yeah.
He's still saying it may or may not happen. She's still saying I'm ready when you are. But the takeaway from CNN's interview with Harris and Walsh was nothing short of incredible.
Well, this is a historic one because it was her first one since she has been nominated.
Accepted the nomination. You're exactly right. So Vice President Kamala Harris said that she was deeply touched by a photo of her young grandniece in pigtails watching her speak at the Democratic National Convention right here in Chicago last week. So though Harris hasn't emphasized it, she says she is running to be president for all Americans. And that's even for the Americans that have not yet reached the age of voting. So the photo captured the potential of her candidacy to make history. It's very humbling in many ways, she told CNN's Dana Bash on Thursday. Her comments came during the first joint interview of Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz. You know what? Tim Walz is beloved by America. I didn't know Tim Walz was on the planet before he became her running mate, but I also have noticed that America is embracing him in a big way. Absolutely. So the Minnesota governor added that he had seen the video of his son, Gus, emotionally reacting to his speech during the convention. So our politics can be better. It can be different. We can show some of these things and we can have families involved in this, he said. I hope that people felt that out there and the hope that they were emanating during their speech. And they hugged their kids a little tighter because you never know. Life can be kind. It can also be hard. Well, in the interview, Harris explained how her positions on issues including fracking and border security have evolved since she first ran for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2019. And I think that that's fair because we can't hold people to policies that of yesteryear, because as you evolve, so do your policies. As America evolves, you have to be flexible enough to fit what the needs are. And she offered a preview of how she's going to explain those evolutions to voters when they come up and debate her with former President Donald Trump. And I am super excited. Like, I'm salivating at the gate for this, right? As I think most Americans are. Absolutely. My values have not changed, though. She was very steadfast on that. She also sought to frame the 2024 race as one that offers the American people a new way forward. And in the convention, it was the resonating message that we are not going back. So after a political decade with Trump in office or out, we have to figure out what is America going to look like next. So Democrats have framed Harris's 2024 campaign as one of joy, a turning the page from the former president who has cast his political rivals, the media, and others as enemies. Fake news, I'm telling you now, as a journalist, I mean, I'm not a journalist, but as a journalist, most journalists say that if you talk about fake news, it's really a personal insult because of the hard work that they do in researching whatever it is they're reporting. So that approach will soon face its biggest test yet, with Harris and Trump both preparing for their September 10th debate on ABC. First of all, I have added to my grocery list. Extra popcorn, extra water, because I am going to be like literally watching that TV like it was a feature film.
Yeah, I mean that's what going into that last one with Joe Biden. Even I was this way too. I feel more, I want to watch this one. I think even more though, just because I've never seen Kamala in a debate like this.
Yeah, she debates very well, but I just wanted to see, I'm anxious to see how she and
I think to
Trump
go up
interact.
against one of the best debaters of all time, I think as a good president should shut him down.
Shut Trump down?
Yeah, like
but you're a Trumpster.
I said on air I am not anything yet. I'm not anything yet. I gotta finish.
You're undecided?
Research. Yes.
A lot of people are.
Because what you told me and made me go and do research over the weekend, like I said, and I think Trump is losing it himself because he feels like he feels the walls closing in on him, and I think that's when he reacts badly and reacts volatile, and it's not looking
erratically.
Good. It doesn't look good on him.
Do you think that it has anything to do with his age?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I didn't see that up until like when I did more research and watched more interviews with him, people talking to him one-on-one instead of him like speaking on a stage, because I feel like you can hide that more. When you're giving a speech, you can say more like broad things, but when you're speaking on a specific topic, I've watched interviews, he cannot stay on topic. And
well, that's one of his biggest criticisms from his own camp. They urge him, they beg him, in fact, to stay on topic. And then when he gets the whim, now, Trump, like me and Jarrell, are Geminis. Yeah. So at any given point, that next Gemini might come take over. But, as a presidential candidate, as a former president, you have to stay and stoically look and act presidential. Absolutely. I mean, the American people are counting on it.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's a good first debate for Kamala to prove herself as well.
Kamala.
What did I say?
Kamala.
Kamala.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I was saying it too. But then when they did that exercise on the Democratic National Convention stage, and then it was so personal for me because that's how we teach kids to say their names or whomever, whatever it is. And so it was super exciting. So now I'm like so happy to say Kamala Harris, because finally I got it.
There it is.
Right. But you know what you're going to get into, y'all? Stay tuned. We got way more to share right here on Inspiration 1390.
Okay. That should be heard.
Okay, perfect.
Hello, this is 1390.
Hi, this is Stinky Davis Gates calling in.
All right, great. Just stay on the line. We got about 4 minutes or so, and then we're gonna get into the interview. I got the host right here and everything they prepared. So about 4 minutes, and we're gonna be on the air. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Actually, let me get this. Here. Get this mics.
Now make sure we don't have any reverb so that I don't hear that, and that's screeching in my ear, please.
I just have to turn it down a few speeds.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut this on.
Who picked this one?
I can guarantee you that it wasn't Swagger DJ AJ.
No, nobody gonna be here on Monday.
So guys, Facebook and Instagram exclusive.
Who's this one? Tina Hammond.
Oh, Tina. I had so many, but one of them was closing on my house. Oh, yes, that is an amazing day. 21 years ago, then started the home daycare center 17 years ago, getting married 34 years ago. God has been good even when I was not faithful. That is awesome. Yeah, you've had some amazing days. I didn't know you were in childcare. That's awesome. Awesome. It fits right nicely into our guest today.
the
and of course
intentions
into my
operate the credit
mainstay.
report. They can help you address
You
all
got
of those
everything you need.
inactive,
I do.
unverified, or unfair negative items on your credit report. It just takes one phone call and you'll walk
All
away
right, we got
with a
about 3 more
credit
minutes. Okay, about
analysis
3 more minutes.
and a game plan to start fixing your credit.
I think we should cut it.
872-319-3319.
I cut the song already. You get a
You cut the
commercial.
song.
You want to cut the commercials?
Yeah, I think we should cut the commercials and then play them at the bottom of the hour after the interview, so that we can get to it.
Hey, hello, guest.
Attention,
Yes, are you there?
Get your new Buddy Bear
I went over
yearly
to West
buddy
Austin.
pass
It's
for as low as
All right.
$17
Hey,
a month for the
we about to
entire
go
year,
in
no
a
matter where
little
you
bit
are.
earlier.
Through
You
15
gonna be ready in
locations,
about 30
you
seconds?
can go anytime and
I'm
get
fine.
your car
Yep, that
washed
works.
every day.
Tell
of
him
the
you
month.
stay ready,
All
Stacey.
year long, Buddy Bear members will receive exclusive
You don't gotta get ready, you stay ready.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's great to have you. Thank you for joining us.
And get your membership
Thank you
today.
for having
You
me.
can ride out
Appreciate
and
you.
ride tomorrow. That's BuddyBearCarWash.com.
Perfect. She got to get back to advocacy.
Jackson.
I'll tell you what's going on.
So it is our plum-pleasing pleasure to have one of Chicago's and arguably one of the nation's leaders, an American labor leader, was elected in May of 2022 after serving as the vice president under Jesse Starkey. And she taught at Inglewood Technical Prep Academy High School on the south side of Chicago. And the school was actually closed in 2008 as a part of a series of closures led by CEO of CPS under Arnie Duncan. And Stacey Davis Gates attributes that moment as when she became radicalized. We definitely want to give a big Brunch Bunch welcome to Chicago Teachers Union President Stacey Davis Gates. What's up, Stacey?
Hey, thank you for having me. Happy Friday before a 3-day weekend.
I know, as teachers and as ancillary people who are in the teaching profession, we definitely love those 3-day weekends, don't we?
Man, those are the things that are a blessing. You hear me?
Yes. So, Stacey, we are happy to have you. And you are literally on the precipice of making more history here in Chicago with the Chicago Teachers Union. So you've been a key figure in the Chicago Teachers Union for many years. What initially inspired you to get involved in the union, and how has your journey evolved over time?
That's a great question. Thanks for asking it. Look, I wanted to be a high school teacher. In fact, I'm a high school social studies teacher. We're in style these days. Kamala, like you just told us, she picked one, and the city of Chicago picked one. Look, in Chicago, teaching in our public school system, especially in places that have communities that have been neglected over time, it's hard. You straddle your love for people, because young people in front of you are human beings, with this idea of offering them an education that is supposed to be liberatory, that is supposed to offer opportunity. But what you find once you get there is something very different. You find a lot of the things that plague the neighborhood: a lack of resources, a lack of leadership, a lack of community and cohesiveness amongst the people who are in the building. And I don't know, I think it makes most people wonder. What it also did for me, though, is it radicalized me. And 2005, Barney Duncan came to Inglewood High School, and he basically told us that we were failing young people there. Now, that's in a community that has been disinvested in over time. It's a community where when Black people moved in, white folks moved out. It's a community that was depicted in Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun. So, we know what happened in Inglewood. So when he came to our school and he told us that, it was discouraging, it was hurtful, but it was also a moment to be radicalized and, to challenge the status quo. And so I got more involved in my union, and here we are today.
Well, what a wonderful journey, and thank you for outlining it like you did. So now, currently, are teachers working under contract, or is it in between contract?
Well, our contract expired June 30th, so we don't have a new contract. However, the agreement is that we keep in place the rules of engagement from our last contract. So in effect, the last contract is enforcing how we do school this school year. And look, I don't know why we don't have one. I'll be perfectly honest, probably because it's Friday. I'm really frustrated. Look, this time in our contract, we tried to meet the mayor and the district halfway. The mayor put out a transition report for public education when he was elected. And so what we did is that we took his transition report and we started crafting contract proposals from that document. So there is a tremendous amount of alignment between all parties. We just can't get the CEO, Pedro Martinez, to send his team to the table to say yes.
So what's next? What's the next course of action? So June 30th, we're now going into September. School has started. Are the teachers going to continue to work out of contract? I know you said the rules of engagement are still in place. So there's a, so to speak, stay of execution. But, we are historic about in Chicago striking if the contracts are not in place or if the contracts are not palatable for the entire teacher population.
So I'm going to say that you should be working for either the Sun-Times Tribune or 7, 9, or 32 because you're asking better questions than all of them rolled in together. What I'll say to you is that over time, yes, our union has taken strikes, spectacular strikes that show a tremendous amount of solidarity. And in those strikes, we've won things for our students, our school communities, and all the stakeholders inside of it. So, for instance, in 2012, when we went on strike, we got air conditioners as a part of our settlement. So in Philadelphia this past week, they were letting kids out of school because the buildings were too high. We didn't have to do that in Chicago because our contract provided infrastructure to make sure that folks could be inside the classroom and not suffer under the heat. Fast forward to 2019, we went on strike. It was a long strike. But what came out of that strike are all of the things that our CEO, Pedro Martinez, is talking about in the press. He keeps saying that our young people are achieving at higher levels. He continues to say that we are staffing our schools and we are providing more resources for our students. But what Pedro won't say is that it was the 2019 contract that makes the district hire more staffing, that makes the district offer a multitude of classes and, by the way, lower class sizes as well. All of those things contribute to how our young people are achieving in the school community. And see, here's my thing. After we have proven each time that we have the best interests of all stakeholders involved in that school community, why do we have to keep fighting for you to say yes?
So that's a great question. Why do we have to keep fighting for Pedro Martinez to say yes? And what is motivating the no's?
Well, that's a good question. Again, another good question.
I'm gonna apply to those people that you said sometimes tribute.
I'll write you a letter of reference.
Well, thank you.
Listen, that is the question of the day. Look, every mayor in the city under mayoral control since 1995, they've done exactly what the mayor of Chicago has directed them to do. When Mayor Emanuel told one of his CEOs to close 50 schools, that's what they did. When Mayor Emanuel told Forrest Claypool to dismantle special education services that disproportionately have impacted Black boys, that's what they did. When mayors told them to put Black children in Willis Wagon, that's what the superintendent did. The question that I have, and Chicago should be asked, quite frankly, and especially Black Chicago, why is it that this Black mayor who wants to give Black children more resources, more funding, more opportunity, why is the CEO telling him no?
Well, let me ask you a question, and this question actually comes from one of our social media listeners. CTU backed this current mayor, Brandon Johnson. Is there a reason why now it looks like there might be a division between CTU and the mayor's agenda, and they have a part B to it? So I'll let you answer part A.
Well, part A I started with, there's great alignment. We took his transition report And all of our proposals encompass his vision for the Chicago Public Schools. There's never been greater alignment with the union and the mayor in the history of this city.
Okay. And so part B is, let's say in an ideal world, you got the mayor you want, you got the contract you want. What does a satisfied CTU look like in an ideal Chicago?
That's a great question, but it's not about a satisfied CTU. It is a school district that offers every student, no matter what zip code or neighborhood, a full complement of classes, sports programs that run in the fall, the winter, the spring, and the summer, art, music, physical education, world language. It also offers an opportunity for our young people to perform and practice in the fine arts. It gives a school day to students that's just not test taking or math and reading, but it offers a full complement of a classical education that parents pay for at Latin or Ignatius or other places like that. That's what we're fighting for. This is not satisfying CTU. CTU members are your neighbors. They live in the communities. Our members have to live in the city of Chicago. So the satisfaction that CTU wants is the same satisfaction our neighbors want.
Well, I'm glad that you broke it down like that, and particularly highlighting parents and parent choice. How do parents get involved in moving this agenda forward for the betterment of a satisfied Chicago?
The local school council is a way to engage. Every single school in Chicago should have a local school council, although there are some that are advisory. That gives parents an opportunity to engage at the very local level. I would also say talk to the teachers that you send your children to every day. But the greatest leap of faith I ever took was dropping my children off at a school to people who were not biologically connected to them. And we give a lot of trust to our educators with the lives, with the spirit, with the humanity of our children. Talk to them about what the contract encompasses, because, people think all types of weird things about our contract. Our contract lowers class. Yeah, our contract lowers class size. Like, it makes sure that kindergartners are in classrooms with two people, not just one person. Have you been with 3 5-year-olds, much less a classroom of 30? Right? So
I have, and I can tell you it's arduous at times.
So it provides the rules of engagement, how we educate our young people. We have 20,000 children and climbing in Chicago that do not have homes. It is difficult to assign homework to young people when they don't have homes. Quite frankly, it's difficult to connect with young people when they have that tremendous amount of instability. So we need them to have homes. We feel like the Chicago Housing Authority should open up their list and put children and their families at the top of that list that it's in the Chicago Public Schools. That gives us an opportunity to at least have some stability there. In our selective enrollment schools right now, there has been a precipitous decline in the top 5 selective enrollment schools, of which Black students are not getting admitted into anymore, right? You look at the demographics of Whitney Young, they look completely different than they looked 20 years ago. Juxtaposed to the fact that neighborhood Black high schools do not offer a full complement of advanced placement or honors courses for those students. So what type of education they get is also predicated on how hard the teachers union pushes them to come correct, or things like curriculum, classes, staffing, just the infrastructure of how we do school. That's the contract.
Well, I'm glad you brought up selective enrollment schools, because we have another online listener who asked a question. What is the barrier making all schools in Chicago select enrollment school status?
I don't know why you would want to make all schools a selective enrollment. I feel like you should be, like, for instance, let me give you an example. There's a community that's being planned in, like, I think the South Loop, the 78 neighborhood is what it's called, but it's called the 78. The 78 has renderings that show 2 schools, an elementary school, K-8, and a high school. That's not a selective enrollment school. And those homes are high 6 and 7 figure price tags.
Mhm.
When we talk about selectivity, it's only with us. It's not necessarily with the dominant culture and the society. Selectivity comes up when we want to gatekeep what's available for all. In fact, many of the neighborhood schools all across this country, and especially where there is a bigger population of white families, they're neighborhood schools. All you got to do is go down and sign up, and you get to go. And it has everything you
And
need.
you have resources that are a plethora of resources. Right, exactly. So let's switch lanes for a second. So charter school accountability and restoring bargaining rights for CPS employees are significant achievements. What motivated these efforts, and what further steps are needed to strengthen public school education here in Chicago?
Well, our bargaining rights, regaining our bargaining rights at the Chicago Teachers Union was critical. It was critical because the only thing that we did have in our repertoire was the strike. Right now, the Board of Education, the CPS, the Chicago Public Schools, they have to negotiate with us. They didn't have to negotiate with us about anything except for wages and benefits every single time we negotiated since 1994. In fact, and some of your listeners will remember this, Jackie Vaughn was the last CTU president that negotiated a contract with the Chicago Public Schools with our full bargaining rights. Karen Lewis bargained those contracts with both hands tied behind her back. And so the strike was the thing that forced the discussion at the table. Now we have a mayor who's a middle school teacher who understands what young people need in their school environment. We have our full bargaining rights back. Pedro Martinez, even though I'm frustrated with him, he is a graduate of the Chicago Public Schools. He understands what they need and what they don't have. He went to an under-resourced, underfunded school. Quite frankly, it is all of our jobs to make sure that the next generation of people who look like us don't have to withstand those inequities and injustices.
Awesome. So the next question, universal pre-K, is that still an expansion agenda item for Chicago Public Schools, or have we plateaued for bringing in early learners into the Chicago Public School arena?
Well, what I would say is that it needs to be better organized, available to parents in a way in which they understand and can engage with it. And right now, we don't have that. What we have is a tapestry of opportunities that it takes parents, a pretty lengthy, education period to even understand how to navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the things with Chicago Public Schools. Do not be new to this city. Do not know people connected to the system, and you come up with anything. The navigation of our system for parents in pre-K, for people who just moved here, for parents with multiples is treacherous. And so one of the things that I think that we can do better, especially with our pre-K learners, is making it more user-friendly for families. We know that parents are working 1, 2 jobs to make ends meet. Going to the grocery store now is like going to a 5-star restaurant. So, the only way you eating is if you're working.
That's right.
So why would we make life harder for families that need things to be easier? And I would say that the pre-K universal kindergarten even, all of those things are very hard to engage with the Chicago Public Schools. So I don't disagree with that. We've been pushing for that. Look, and I'll say this in all fairness, because I do think we should also, be as transparent as possible. The Chicago Public Schools has never really worked for the very people that it has needed it to work for them. And what we are trying to transform is that, right? But Chicago
That's
is
huge,
stubborn.
Stacey. That's huge.
Yeah, but Chicago is stubborn, right? There's bureaucracy. We live in segregation. All of my neighbors are Black, and I would venture to say most people who live in Chicago, their neighbors look like they do. The city has tolerated injustice and inequity for a very long time. So, yes, we have big dreams. We are challenging the status quo, and we're going to make it happen. And we're not ridiculous enough to know that it's not going to be just one contract. It's going to be contract after contract. It's going to be coalition work after coalition work. It's going to be this mayor. It's going to be this city council. It's going to be Governor Pritzker. It's going to be the General Assembly. It's going to be parents, families, and students everywhere. We have students, we have members of the Chicago Teachers Union right now who were students in the Chicago Public Schools when Karen Lewis took us on strike in 2012. So what I'm saying is that it takes a while to get there, but also, like my granny used to tell us, it's like you got a long way to go and a short time to get there, so you better get to work.
You better get to moving. So looking ahead, Stacey, what are your top priorities for the CTU and public education in Chicago, and how can the community, including our listeners that are engaged right now, get involved in supporting these initiatives?
Look, I think my hope is that Chicagoans will tune into the first ever elected school board elections in November. It is an opportunity, especially for Black families, to raise their hand and have their voices heard. In other places in this country, voting rights for Black people are being marginalized. Our union, along with other community organizations, work to expand democracy that will impact Black children, Black families, Black neighborhoods. So I would encourage folks to pay attention to that. I think the second thing that I would say is get involved in your local school. Make sure you're signing up to read the book in the classroom. Make sure you are connected with your child's teachers. Listen, there's nothing a teacher can tell me about my children that I don't already know. And being connected to those teachers helps your young person. It is a relationship that we have to nurture. It is the bridge under which we figure out how to give our kids the opportunity to achieve the most. And then three, come out and participate at the Chicago Board of Education board meetings. Come out and participate at all of the things that happen inside of your school community. Look, public schools belong to the public. This is the best.
Hence the name, right?
Precious, say it again.
Hence the name, public schools.
Yeah, public schools. But here's the thing. This is the only country in our whole wide world that does public education in the way that we do public education. It is the most audacious experiment that this country has ever put forward. And through struggle, through protest, through challenge, and through strikes, we have helped to change the trajectory of public education, making it more egalitarian and open for Black kids in the city. From Jackie Vaughn to Marilyn Stewart to Karen Lewis, I'm very proud of our legacy of making sure young people have more, and we got a lot more to get.
And you're continuing the legacy. One more question from our listening audience. Why is an elected school board so important? I don't think people really understand the gravity of that.
Why is it so important?
Yes.
Every school district in the state of Illinois has had the opportunity to vote for the people who create and decide on school policy. Every single school district in this state, except for Chicago. Chicago is also the only city that educates the most Black children in the state of Illinois. What is that telling you? That's why it's important. For nothing else, that we deserve it, and it's been a long time coming, and get out and vote.
It has been a long time coming. Now, how do people engage? How do they find out where the board meetings are, and how do they connect with you, Stacey?
Well, you can always connect with me. I'm over at the Chicago Teachers Union, ctulocal1.org, ctulocal1.org. Also, the school board elections, all of that great information. I'm paying attention to this organization called Save Our Schools. It's sos.org. Lots of great information there about the elected school board. And listen, see me on Facebook, send me an email, call us at the union. We're available. We're not just a union for the people who work inside of the Chicago Public Schools. We're a union for people who need the Chicago Public Schools to work well. So that means families, that means parents, that means young people, that means community stakeholders. We're your union too.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you had to put something on notice or someone on notice, would you put the parents on notice? Would you put the Pedro Martinez on notice? Would you put just Chicago period on notice to get engaged, to get involved? I think you already kind of said that, but sometimes you got to hit us in the stomach with a message.
No, Reverend Jackson says you say it 3 times. And every time you say it like it's the first time he's ever said it. And so, no, that's just fine. Look, your school community is the lighthouse and the anchor. It is the second home of of your children. Get involved there first. Make sure the educators who are influencing and shaping the educational opportunities of your children, make sure you are engaged with them. Make sure you are a part of the group project of educating your young person. That is the most important thing that we can do. This weekend, I intend to go over all of those folders that each one of my children have brought home in the last week to understand who these people are, because they're going to have to help me, and I'm going to have to help them. So we got to get to know each other.
This is perfect. You got a big job, Stacey, and we're definitely wrapping up the God's grace around you. So continue to do what you're doing. We got to have you back soon, okay?
I would more than welcome to come back, and I will reiterate, you pray the protection of our Lord and Savior around me, and you continue to do that every day. You do it around our union and all of its members. Thank you so much.
You got to thank you so much. You guys, give it up for Stacey.
Awesome.
Davis Gates. Yes. Awesome interview. Y'all, we'll be back. Keep it locked. It's Inspiration 1390. Yeah, she was amazing. Amazing. Now, speaking of amazing, that means that we got to get engaged. We talk about this all the time, you guys. You go to the local school board meetings and vote in the elected school board elections. As she said, this is the only city in the state of Illinois that does not have an elected school board. We've been asking for this for 3 mayors. No, 4 mayors.
What is the reason that they didn't give it?
Control. You take the control out of the people's hands and put it into admin's hands. Everything that's controlling has to do with money. So definitely get involved. You know, she told you to watch SOS.org. Definitely do that. The local school board involvement is essential. If you got a child, a grandchild, a niece,
it's your girl, attorney India
anybody that's in your family that's being educated by Chicago Public Schools, you need to get involved. You know, typically the massive involvement push is in preschool. And then once you get your child out of preschool, you very rarely see the parents because they trust that children and their teachers know the routine. Well, that's not true.
And for a limited time,
irrespective of what your routine is, it might not be reflective of your family values. You got to make sure that your family values are being iterated in the classroom. So get involved.
Hey guys, it's Tamara.
Yeah.
If
the routine don't work, unwork it.
It's not just a place. It's a lifetime of memories, hard-earned and cherished.
2 minutes.
At
All right.
and Automation, they understand what it means to protect these memories. As a authorized dealer, they stand guard over 1 million homes and businesses.
Stu, what's going on? Bomani, hello. Carlton Schulich. Thank you so much for joining. And for all of you on Facebook, thank you so much. So the teachers need prayer. My daughter got cursed out this morning by a student. What? That wasn't even in her class. And she said it was a rap. What? That's crazy, Tina. I know you handled that. The kids need Jesus. I think that once we took prayer out of the schools, we took like parameters out of the kids. Like literally, you don't have boundaries have to be wherever your child goes, and those start at home. But you have to reiterate that. And if kids think that God is watching them, they stop all of that.
The ultimate safety that they bring to your home. Call Stacey Chauncey at 866-447-3344. Stacey Chauncey, 866-447-3344.
Well, guess what, guys? We thank you for rocking out with us this entire month. Yes. And we look forward to you rocking out, of course, with Action Jackson for the month of September. And you so your smile is so big. I know you got something to say.
We'll see you in October.
We will see you in October. In the meantime, you guys eat, drink, and holiday responsibly.
Yes.
We are
Be safe.
definitely keeping you in our prayers for the month of.
It's hot in Chicago, so be safe.
Yeah, the blocks is hot. Even when in the winter, the blocks are hot. So listen, guys, we always want to encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know that you love them, and show someone that you do know how much you love them. Lead with love. Land on love. I love you, Adam.
I love you, Tammy.
Believers, we love you. Baby Eminem, we love you too. Y'all, this is the holiday weekend. Make sure you spread love, not venom. It's time to go. Peace.
Cool.
Listen, guys, we didn't even run out of time. We was like right on the money. You guys have a wonderful holiday weekend. We thank you so much. Thank you to our special guest, Stacey Davis Gates. You guys, public schools are definitely should be on the top of your priority list. If you look at your tax bill, it's definitely on the top of your tax bill list and where your money is allocated. So get engaged, stay engaged, and stay optimistic. We'll see you in October.
Your success strategist is on duty.